T gear, low tuning, haha. Fun with B standard. So basically where I start is I take the normal gauge strings, 10s that I have, I take them off and I put 13s on to make up for the lack of tension that is going to be on the fretboard, the neck, and the tuning pegs. So basically, in standard tuning, my strings would be E, B, G, D, A, E, and the gauges of my packs of 10, what I normally use would be 10, 13, 17, 26, 36, 46. But when I buy the pack of 13s, my gauges are 13, 17, 26, 36, 46, and a low 56. So basically it's the same strings, 5 of the same strings, so they've been moved, and then I have this low 56 for my low B. So when we say it's B standard, we're tuning all of these strings down what's called a perfect fourth. A perfect fourth you could think about as 5 half steps. So pretend I'm in standard tuning here for a moment. I'm not, I'm in B standard, but if I was in standard, this would be my E string, and my 12th fret of my E string would also be E. 5 half steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, takes me to a B. That interval is called a perfect fourth. So I'm taking my E string and I'm tuning it down a perfect fourth to B. So my strings that were E, B, G, D, A, E are now B, F sharp, D, A, E, low B. So everything went down a perfect fourth. E went to F B, my B string went down a fourth to F sharp, my G string, third string, went down a fourth to D. This is now my D string. And my fourth string, which was D, is now down a fourth to A. There's my A string. And then my fifth string, which was A, is now tuned down a fourth to E. So that's my low E now, my fifth. And then I have this low B. So I still have 2 Bs. So all of the chords that I would play in like your standard open chords, those still all work. I might just throw that in. But they're just tuned down a fourth, but they can still work because all our strings are relative to what they were before. They're in the same order, just down a fourth. Interesting? So, and the other thing with 13s is they may not sit in the nut properly here, and you may end up with some fret buzzes, so you may have to file out to get the string to sit in there properly. Which, of course, if you're going to go back to standard at some point and 9 or 10 gauge strings again, you may need a new nut. So you may want to just pick one guitar that's going to be your drop guitar, your B standard guitar. And then just real quick, another really popular tuning other than B standard down a fourth is what you'll hear, drop A. And drop A is this tuning, B standard, with this low B being tuned down another whole step to an A. So it's like the drop D tuning that you probably know when we're in standard and we drop E to D, and then you have the one finger power chord thing. Oh, there'll be a link here above or below, somewhere around this screen, for a drop D video I did. But anyway, that would be drop A in this case. So our B standard tuning with our heavier gauge strings, and then in the tripfuse tune, the letting go that I played at the beginning of the thing, that riff, I've already taught that. Again, a link up below, sideways, maybe right there above my finger. That might be a good place to put it. Anyway, but I teach it in E standard, so I teach it on the E string, which now in this case would be the fifth string. But again, on the record, I use the low B. So a link to follow that to learn that riff in the B standard. And then the only other thing that I do a little bit differently for live is I don't tune my second string here to the F sharp. I actually tune it to G. So my strings are B, G, D, A, E, B. So in other words, it's the 5 strings that were in standard tuning moved down. And I do that because that way I can take the chord shapes from the acoustic lesson I put up. These are the chord shapes I play both in the acoustic version and the electric version. And again, link above here somewhere to that lesson. And I play these spread voicings or open voicings on strings 3, 4, and 6. But because I'm now in this drop tuning guitar, because on the record, sorry, I hope this isn't too confusing, on the record and in the acoustic version, those are both standard guitars. I'm playing in standard. But live, I have to play this guitar so that I have my low B, and then I also can have these shapes. So when I move them down a set of strings, they're not going to work because of this F sharp. So I tune it up a half step to G, and then I can play the exact same shapes, but they're just on strings 2, 3, and 5 instead of 3, 4, and 6. Hopefully that makes sense, but you can watch that video to see these shapes and then just play them on this set of strings, 2, 3, and 5 instead of 3, 4, and 6. And the reason I did that is because the stretches, if I didn't play it in this tuning with the G, I would have to move my pinky here, and then on the second chord, the stretches they just get too big for me, and it's too hard on my hand to play and sing. So I changed that one tuning. But that, I don't really know what you would call that tuning, because it's not B standard anymore. I've just changed one string. But anyway, that's B standard. What we just taught here, basically, our strings are in the same relationship they were in E standard. That's why it's called B standard. It's just every string has been dropped down a perfect fourth. And you might want heavier gauge strings. And I think I covered everything I wanted to cover in this lesson. Some links to the tripfuse tune to learn the tune. And yeah, find a guitar, get some heavy gauge strings. That's kind of fun. All, like, even the open chords sound different, you know, because they're low, and it's a lot of fun to play around with for sure. And yeah, as always, thanks for being part of the channel. Subscribe if you haven't and you like what you see, and lots more videos on the channel. And also, if you're interested in taking guitar lessons with me, there'll be a link here also below. Online lessons, part of a method that I put together. And yeah, and the biggest thing you can do is share. Tell your friends, share. Share. Tripfuse, the lessons, whatever. Just spread the word. Anyway, have fun. Thanks.